All right, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. This is my post-market wrap-up on this Monday, August 5th, 2019. I have a lot of stuff I want to cover with you. Please pay attention to this and share this video if you believe what I'm saying here is important and people should understand these concepts. All right, let's start off with the basics. Stocks got walloped today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost about 770 points off the low of about 950. Okay, whatever. Nothing goes down in a straight line. But again, if you follow my work, you know for a fact that you should not be looking at the stock market. If you're a trader, yes, you should be trading it too. I'm a trader. I trade every day. I had 2 trades today, both successful, one on the long end, one on the short end, using my quant system, free for you. If you want it, it's in the description of this video. There's a link to my website. Okay. Now, as I was saying, stop the look here, don't look here. You are not supposed to be looking at the bond market, which is the root cause of everything we are seeing, not just here in the United States, but on a global level. When I refer to the bond market, I'm talking about the debt market. Every single asset, including shares of stock, derive value from what's happening in the debt market. The dollar, the euros, any fiat currency, all of them are units of debt. Okay, let me show you this so you can get a handle on what's happening in the bond market. I want you to look at Look at the 1 month Treasury. Look at the yield on that, 2.07. It was maybe just a couple of weeks ago when the 10-year yield was 2.07. Now look at the 1 month. Let's go down the whole curve. So far, the 1 month is dominating. Even the 10-year, which is now dropped to 1.73. The only debt unit yielding higher is the 30-year. Look, if you believe that that is a healthy yield curve, there is something wrong with you. It is absolutely inverted, and it is getting much, much worse. This is historically, what we're seeing right now has led to market crashes, meltdowns, and depressions, without exception. Right here and right now is no different. People, bear with me here. All right. So what we have is a debt crisis. It's a crisis of the highest order. It is a clear and present immediate danger to every living person on the planet. We have inflated a bubble in debt that is unlike anything the world has ever seen. This has created massive, unsustainable distortions across the spectrum of asset classes with regard to their price action. Nothing today, not one single asset, has a real price discovery mechanism behind it. Nothing. Whatever you're seeing, the value of this, the value of that, it's being kind of made up because of what's happening in a debt market that is beyond, and then on top of that, beyond. You understand? So, the world right now is caught in a vortex, sucking everyone down into this debt black hole. I want you to understand that. Now, what do we know just happened today? China devalued their currency. Their currency is not immune to any other currency. It is also a unit of debt. Okay. We are watching a very unique, in fact, it's never happened before, never before have we witnessed what we're seeing now. I've explained to you the mechanism behind it, but I'll cover it again real quick. World central banks are becoming the lenders and buyers of last resort. The more debt that they issue, all right, in the form of dollars or the more debt that they purchase with dollars printed out of thin air or added to a digital screen, the more powerful these institutions become. This is a plan that has gone on for multiple decades. It will not stop. It's unstoppable. No act or anything can prevent what is coming down the pike. We have literally reached the point of no return. Now, what's going on here is we're having world leaders, all of them, including the President of the United States, reacting to a crisis. That is the debt crisis that is around us. They're not acting preemptively to do anything about it. Now, so we understand, it's very clear that we are in a vortex of debt, which is going to lead us all into a resource availability problem. And it's not just a problem, it's a matter of life and death. I really mean that in the literal sense. Bear with me. We all transact in fiat currencies. Here in the United States, we transact in dollars for the most part. We understand that China just devalued their currency. The president said today that the Federal Reserve should watch China because he believes they should follow suit. So why would any rational leader call for the issuance of more debt in an environment of a vortex that's sucking everything down? One world leader has to stop it. One leader has to take the opposite side of that trade. It could be, and it should be, President Donald Trump. He will not do this, but he could stop the disaster that's about to occur, or at least prevent it from unfolding in a worst case scenario. He could do it today by executive order. But again, you will hear nothing about this out of the president's mouth. What you will hear is how he's calling for more debt issuance, a Federal Reserve to cut interest rates. How do they do that? The Federal Reserve has to get in the market and buy the debt. How do they buy the debt? With dollars added to a digital screen. It exacerbates the underlying problem. Quantitative easing, outright capital purchases, injections into this market. How does that happen? Debt created out of thin air in the form of dollars. We have to escape the vortex of debt, and our president can take action. All right, this is how we win big. You see this back here? I have covered this at length now for quite a while, but we are at a critical juncture. And either one of two things is going to happen. One, the most likely scenario, our president will play right into the debt vortex, calling for further rate cuts, calling for a weaker dollar, escalating this trade war. Now, I don't know how many of you follow the mainstream financial channels, but it's being called a trade war and a currency war, an escalating currency war. It's kind of funny how they spin it. Some people actually believe that what's going on with China right now and the United States hitting each other with tariffs, China just announced they're going to halt U.S. agricultural purchases, and they are going to hit back with tariffs of their own. Now, people believe this is a negotiating tactic. No, this is a war. It's a trade war. You're not supposed to know that because it sounds kind of ominous. And we are moving into a currency war. Now, understand, what is a currency war? A currency war is simply this. It's a debt war. And who is the war against? It's against you. By devaluing the currency, how does it help you when you have to reach into your pocket to pay more for everything coming down the pike? You understand? It's very simple, but it can't be spoken about in these terms by any world leader, especially our president. He will not tell you this in any way. He knows what I am saying. At least I'd like to believe he does. Now, let's talk about what the president can do right here and right now. The one thing he can do. Let's say there's actually gold here in the United States. A lot of people don't believe it's there. Let's just say it's there. Okay. We'll use what they're saying. it's a very simple concept. If we understand that the world is falling into a vortex, sucking everything down with it, and every world central bank and their respective leader is playing the same game, okay? Somebody has to do the opposite thing. Now, our president, again, is calling for the Federal Reserve to look at China, look at what China's central bank is doing. It's the absolute wrong thing to do. And it should make sense to you. Either we go down the rat hole further of debt, for which we are in a debt crisis, unlike anything we've ever seen. This is beyond and freaking beyond. You understand? If our president had the guts to do this one thing today, not only would he look like a freaking genius, okay? He would stop China in their tracks like you have no idea, like they just hit a brick wall going 1,000 miles per hour. All he needs to do is, number one, revalue the price of gold 10 times higher than it is right now. This has been done many times in history where the government has stepped in and revalued the price of gold. Okay, right now the price of gold is being dictated by the derivatives market. I want you to think about what I just said. Again, the hard asset derives value from what's happening in the derivative. It's kind of like Apple stock getting valued because of what the derivative is doing. I'm a derivative trader, so I understand derivatives, I think, as clear can be. But this mechanism of the derivative valuing gold is completely asinine, and there's no price discovery mechanism behind it at all. There's no real price discovery mechanism behind anything because of the action in the debt market. Artificially suppressed rates have allowed and manifested distortions and bubbles, inverse bubbles to the upside to develop everywhere. This is an environment that is like none other we've ever seen. Number one, the president today revalues gold 10 times higher, and then he says, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to play the debt game anymore. We're going to take the US dollar and back it with a fraction of gold. Right there, we win. Right there, the president wins. Period. Not only does the president win, and do we all win, okay? This sucks power. We talk about sucking down a vortex. This sucks power from the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve issues debt. It's their only product, period. The more debt they issue, the stronger they become. By backing the dollar with a fraction of revalued gold, okay, we take some of that power away. This is how we win. There is no plan. Believe what I'm telling you. I don't care who's telling you this on YouTube. They are lost, deranged, and misleading you that the president is going to take down the Fed or whatever he's going to do. This has been a mechanism that has been in place for decades. If you think that one president is about to eliminate the Federal Reserve after being in office just a couple of years, then you unfortunately have drank a little bit too much Kool-Aid here. It's not going to happen. But what can happen is we take back our country. We take back our mode of transaction. I don't know how many of you feel like tweeting the president or writing to the president and say, listen to what Gregory Mannarino is saying right here and right now. No. You will be ignored. You will watch this president and every world leader call for more debt issuance in every manner that you can imagine. We are going down the hole, the vortex suck hole, into a debt time bomb, which is already starting to tick. I mean, faster and louder, just gauging from looking at the bond market like I just showed you. It's about to get much worse, and when it goes off, believe me, there is nowhere to hide. There's not going to be one corner of the earth to hide in. So you can run, you can load up on whatever you want to do. It ain't helping you. All right? Now, what would be the ramifications of what I am explaining to you and why it will not happen? If the president were to do what I said, revalue gold 10 times higher and back the dollar with a fraction of that gold, it would immediately have a severe, sharp, downward effect on global stock markets. This will not be allowed to happen. This is why you lose. You understand? This is why you lose. Why the president will make sure you lose. Like every other world leader will make sure you freaking lose. Corporate America must be maintained. It's the military-industrial complex that is running the entire show. They will not allow what I have explained to you, but if we were to take back our government, if there were a revolution in this country, which we do need, then maybe we can do something. And I'll tell you what's going to happen. When this thing around us corrects to fair value, and it's going to, then a new system will be put into place at that time. But think of what we'll have to go through before we reach that point. Again, we are going to face a crisis that no one is ready for here. And that means it's going to become a resource issue, massive inflation on an unbelievable scale. The modes of transaction, the dollar will go up like confetti. You will see a credit freeze. You will not have access to any of the cash you believe you have in the bank, which operates on a fractional reserve. Look all this stuff up. So basically, whatever wealth you think you have will be literally 100% gone. This is where we're going in this environment now, and there's no escaping it if we continue down the vortex of debt. We are in a full-blown global debt crisis, and you are being kept in the dark about it. If you follow this blog, I think you are well awake and well aware of what is happening around us. And I do believe that at this particular time, we are facing a worst case scenario. Worst case scenario coming down the pike here. And what that means is you can take every single market crash that we've ever had, put them together, and the one we're going to have is going to eclipse every single one of them combined. We are going to face a moment, we have the potential to face, unless something happens, like I just explained to you, a much worse situation than the Great Depression. And it's going to happen in our lifetime unless action is taken by one world leader. Again, what we have here in the United States are reactive leaders. React, 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 react. We don't have a president that is preemptive. All right. I could go back over this and talk about things that could have been done and should have been done a while back. It doesn't matter anymore. We need to talk about where we are right now. And I can promise you this. There is not one person right now running for president. None. Zero. On the Democratic side that is prepared to handle what is coming. Our president is not prepared either. As a matter of fact, he's just as bad as every single candidate running for president right now. They are not prepared for what's coming. None of them has the guts to do what needs to be done. They don't. And that would be a massive hit to the stock market, a revaluation of gold 10 times higher, backing the dollar with a fraction of gold. Do the opposite of what every other world central bank wants them to do. Suck their power. The only way to do it is this, what I just outlined for you. And I know that I'm dreaming, because it ain't happening, people. But this is it. Without this fix, which would hit the market, and hit everyone's 401k plans, there's no doubt about it, or every investment that makes money on the long end, we're in trouble. Because the issue is debt. It's not the freaking stock market, it's debt. And the stock market is being valued, distorted by what's happening in the debt market, by the artificially suppressing of rates right now. And the president's calling for them to be suppressed further. Again, pushes cash into the stock market, inflating a massive bubble for which we do not know where the bottom is. It's at the bottom of that vortex that I just explained to you. That's where it is. It could be Dow 2000. All right? Think of what that would mean for you coming down the pike. Look, I hope really that this makes sense to you. Have I said one thing that does not make sense to you? Or have I actually laid out a case for where we are, where we're going, and a potential fix here? Something I've been outlining for the longest time. Look, I believe what I'm about to tell you. The president is surrounded by people who are giving him some very, very bad advice with regard to the trade war and now this soon-to-be escalating currency war. Mr. President, look, give me a call. I know you can get my phone number. I will help you for free. I will sit down and outline everything that I believe you need to do, and then we can talk about it for nothing, for zero. I don't want anything for it. We can even do it under the table, okay? We don't even have to let anybody know about it, Mr. President. I promise you, I know how to keep a secret. I will keep it secret. You want to meet with me? I will never mention a word on YouTube or anywhere else. Let's talk, Mr. President, about what we can do here. You want to take the credit for it? Good. You can do that too, because I don't care. All I want is for the middle class to survive. And not just the middle class. We are going to witness a biblical loss of life. At the moment this debt bubble actually bursts, that they are so desperate to keep inflated that they have to keep sucking down that vortex. All right? All we need is one leader, one, and I hope it's you, Mr. President, who has the guts today, not tomorrow, today, revalue gold 10 times higher by executive order. Back the currency with a fraction of that gold by executive order. Yes, Mr. President, the stock market will be cut in half as soon as you make that choice. That's the truth. People will, again, lose on their investments that only make money when the stock market goes up. But this is a win for everyone longer term. Well, are we not concerned with what's happening down the pike, Mr. President? Are we only concerned with the immediacy where we are now? Is your election that important that you can't do something to save the people? You know, sometimes you got to sacrifice. If this would mean, Mr. President, that you would lose the election, so be it. By doing this one thing, you would save the world. It's really the truth. With that said, I'm going to let you all go. Please share this video. And for those of you that maybe have access to the president, or maybe have the guts to tweet the president, or maybe have the guts to get this video to the president, we'll do it. Okay? Because we are at that critical time, everyone. We're there now. Please share this video. Get it out there. I will read the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm out of here.